Monday morning, a brand new week. Today is the 20th day of April 2026. I hope your weekend was amazing. I had a super amazing one. I loved the weekend so much. I hope yours was good. And so let us set the tune for this new week. Let it really set the tune for this new week. Let's begin our day with this quote. Our quote of the day is coming from Abraham Lincoln, former president of the United States of America. The best way to predict the future is to create it, and always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other one thing. The best way to predict the future is to create it, and always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other thing. Very important quotes there coming from Abraham Lincoln. The future we seek to have, we need to create it. The predictions we have, let us create it. I want to be a doctor in future. It starts from today. I need to create it. I want to be a nurse in future. Let me create it from today. I want to be successful in future. Let me create it today. And I want to be influential in future. Let me create it today. How do we create our future? By putting together all of the necessary resources we need today to ensure that when the future meets us, or when we meet the future, we will be prepared for what the future holds for us. And so let us create our future from today. We want a healthy life, we create it from today. We want a balanced life, we create it from today. Everything we need or we are predicting for the future, we ought to start creating it. And let's start creating it today. Bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other one thing. You need to succeed. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give what you do not have. And so it's important that as a person you succeed for your own good and for the good of others. But most importantly, for your own good. It is more important than any other one thing. And Abraham Lincoln reminds us of that. We have a lot for you today on the show. We'll bring you the newspaper headlines. What are the newspapers reporting? We would read it for all of our hearing so that we can better appreciate it. Over the weekend, a lot happened and we'll be discussing them on the show. There was a fire incident on Saturday at South Industrial Area. Very thankfully, and all grateful is that no casualty was recorded. And so we'll take a look at that. It was at a warehouse. The last time there was a fire incident at Bubuashi, it was also at a warehouse. These trends, what are these warehouse owners not doing right to cause these? Is it a mistake from their end, or is it just a happenstance? Well, we'll take a look at that. All of these recurrent fire outbreaks in the capital. We'll take a look at that. Also on Saturday, a very big sale happened, Porials Pitch. And at Porials Pitch, one thing that made the headlines was the Food and Drugs Authority enforcement team. They decided that that would be a very good place to conduct some operations. And they conducted that operation, seized unregistered products. Food and Drugs Authority says that their reason is to safeguard unsuspecting consumers from potential harm. And so the FDA was there. I've seen comments. FDA themselves posted it all over their socials, on Facebook, on X, all over their socials. The comments have been very interesting. Some say that this is not a place to go and clamp down on any unregistered products. Go into our regular markets every day, Monday to Friday, Monday to Saturday, Monday to Sunday. Somebody is selling unregistered products. Don't go and do this to people who have paid huge sums of money to sell their wares. But really, did FDA not to do the right thing? They did, didn't they? VS is to regulate, and they went there to regulate there. And so that was FDA. Last year, ABC News Ghana was at Porials Pitch, bringing all of last year's sights and scenes and interviews from morning up until the evening. It was a big program, and this year proved to also be big. Well, but FDA made the news at the program. We'll take a look at that. Engineers and planners have also taken over the Damang mine, and the CEO, Ibrahim Mahama, has promised an airport development. But is it an airport we need? Every time we talk about airports in the country, for those who are very much for those who very much speak for the train industry, the railway sector, say that we do not need more airports, we need rails. I am tempted to side with them the more. Well, the CEO of Engineers and Planners says that in Damang there's going to be an airport. But I would also say that, well, maybe we should look at the rail system in the country, get it fully done, and maybe we can take a look at the airport. We have a documentary that has been playing on our network for about 3 weeks now on our rail system. Very important, how our rail system has derailed. And so, as the CEO of Engineers and Planners is talking about airports, well, we should also be adding up the conversations of our railway in the country. It will help us. It will help us very much. The Institute of Economic Research and Public Policy, IERPP, will be addressing natural resource concerns in the country. We'll take a look at that. We have resource concerns in the country. My biggest concern is the fact that our lands and our waters are suffering because of the natural resource that God has graciously given unto us. Many people involved in Galamsey are desecrating our lands, they are desecrating our waters for this natural resource. Left to me alone, let them stay in the ground so that we'll be fine. Mercury has been injected into our land, cyanide, all very heavy metals that cause very, very, very adverse effects to us. And it is a big worry, a really big worry. But we'll be looking forward to IERPP and their address on our natural resources. We have all of these for you this morning on ABC in the Morning with me, ABENA MANTE. We're streaming live, Facebook and YouTube, ABC News GH, ABC News GH. We're streaming live. They also interact with us via socials at ABC News GH _ and our website is www.abcnewsgh.com. A big thank you to the production and technical team for putting together today's show. If you're leaving home for work, I wish you a very safe trip to work. If you're already at work, I wish you the very best of the day. Thank you so much for joining us here on ABC in the Morning. Right after this break, we'll begin with the newspaper headlines. Do stay.
Playing for your country, and easy. Scoring, and easy. Winning, and easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. I easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Make easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Some things never change when it comes to feeding your family. You choose what you trust. For generations, Gino has delivered the same dependable quality every time. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your team data guy on the talking point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Makion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
welcome back. Still watching ABC in the morning live here on ABC News GH. It's time to take a look at the newspapers. It's a brand new week, a beautiful Monday morning, setting the tone for the week. What are the newspapers telling us? This is from the publisher. Economic revival, not cosmetic. The finance minister Ato Forson tells global investors, stop eating banku, big fufu at night. President Mahama wants Ghanaians. Well, sometime last week, President Mahama spoke about banku and fufu when, interesting. Well, President Mahama, we have heard you and we have heard you loud and clear. We'll drink some tea at night. When you're marking rights to judges, and then Akufo-Addo helped me get the Mang Mine deal. Ibrahim Mahama says so. HACCER wins best. Also, I'm unable to see what is beneath, but well, I think you can see it, my viewers. But this is from the publisher, and its stories. Daily Guide: sack pensions boss over reckless spending. As if what from the minority says so, says there's some reckless spending, so pensions board boss must be sacked. Engineers and planners pledges major investment in Damang. Engineers and planners is saying so. Nyinahini bauxite mine, local companies deserve fair chance, and this is by the chief of Nyinahini. Odao Group remains part of Achime Buakwa. The Adriana family in Achime Buakwa says so. A few days ago, we heard that a group says that they were severing any ties with the Ebuakwa family, the Ebuakwa Ebusiakese. Well, the Adriana family says they are still a part. AG-OSP relationship broken beyond repair. Is that so? Is it really broken beyond repair? Sometime last week, all of the conversation was about AG and OSP, about what was in the Constitution, Article 88. Well, someone says it's broken beyond repair. I don't want to believe so. Well, the Daily Searchlight: state security turned into weapons against the opposition, and this is by Sami Wuku. Abolish Special Prosecutor Office, COPEC boss. And then stable power ahead of outages. I'm unable to see it properly. Beg your pardon, my viewers. Really beg your pardon on that. Stable power ahead. Outages are temporary, President Mahama assures. So I don't know about you, but if you've been experiencing power outages, President Mahama says that it is temporary, everything will revert. I have been experiencing it in my area. It's not easy. The heat, coupled with the heat, it makes sleeping in the evening very, very difficult. But the president says that is only temporary, and so we'll look to see when it ends. The publisher: GIADEC accused of sidelining local firms. That is with regards to the Nyinahini bauxite project. Insider dismisses claims of Get Fund Minister rift. Okay, we'll see. Odauhene cut ties with Ochehene. However, in the newspaper we just read, it says it's not true. We'll see how this relationship goes. Odauhene says that no longer affiliated with Ochehene or owing allegiance to the seats. On the Chronicle: foreign investors to take over Nyinahini bauxite. Stakeholders push back against alleged move. Stakeholders say that give this to the local investors. Mahama promotes 19 senior police officers. Ochene is our overlord. Kingmaker says so. Also, this conversation is going to be quite interesting. We'll see where it converges. On the Guide: fury over Nyinahini bauxite deal. GIADEC boss board under flags for snubbing Ghanaian firms. The Adriana family rejects or down breakaway claim. And OSP can't prosecute independently under Ghana laws. Let's take a look at the next. The new trust, Atrema Impatesie residents raise alarm over missing royal regalia and demand accountability as their chief denies accusation. Wow, this is interesting. Jataba fires back at critics over tricycle health project by government. Let's work together to strengthen local government structures for accelerated development. This is KMA. And the black man is still capable of managing his own affairs. The engineers and planners' success story. Mariam Yusuf officially joins Aswansi Youth NPP Youth Organizer race and pledges grassroots transformation. The Republic Press, confusion deepens over OSP mandate after court ruling. Minority raises alarm over NPRA's refusal to release pension data. And GTEC releases list of 62 unrecognized institutions. Metro Lens, tricycles, not ambulances, JM says. And Anodon Prayer commissions 5 community water projects to tackle access challenges in Nsawam Aduedri. No defiance between Get Fund boss, Education Minister. Our yams are rotting, our lives are breaking. Techiman Market cries out. But the president over the weekend had spoken about how we could add more to our yams to ensure that our yams don't go to waste. The Punch. Heavy rains breed mosquitoes. PWAC CEO Air District Hygiene promotes 3P garlic mixture. Okay, all right. George Kofi Arthur steps forward to lead NDC as Western Regional Chairman. Jataba fires back at critics over tricycle health project by government. The godfather of many. Well, I think this will be a feature on Julius Debra, the Chief of Staff. GFA's $400,000 gamble on Kieros. $20 million windfall will trigger long-term contract. Okay. And the informer, TI wants OSP distraction as NDC backs court. But NPP questions AG takeover. Mahama rates OSP high and declare too early, get disqualified. NDC warns ahead of internal politics. The Inquisitor, Giadex sparks anger, and there's an editorial on KGL's Alex Dade and says that Alex Dade's KGL group must be commended. Chairman Buga hits at Dr. Hamid, that's in the NPP, and Jataba fires critics of government's tricycle health project. Ghanaian company sidelined the Ninehini bauxite deal. Get Fund boss did not oppose minister's directive, and this is an insider who claims so. Okay, and that is all for the newspaper headlines. One thing that is running through all of them is the Ninehini bauxite deal, and the GIADEC boss and its board says that the local firms have been papers are telling us. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll start with conversations here on the show. Do stay.
Some things never change. Trends come and go, but in your cooking, you still choose the tomato mix you trust. Because real quality never changes. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
This week's been wild.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the Talking Point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Makion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Back, you're still watching ABC in the morning. It's time for our front story, and we turn our attention to our safety. We started 2026 and we're still hearing fire incidents. It's almost like every year fires become the norm in the country. Albeit all of the sensitization and awareness of the Ghana National Fire Service. And so it's always a good time to talk about our safety, talk about fires and what we can do to safeguard ourselves. Just over the weekend on Saturday, April 18, there was a fire incident at the South Industrial area on the top floor of the warehouse, a one-story building, and believed to be dealing in plastic disposable materials. Well, thankfully, no casualties have been recorded. However, it's important to talk about this. DO2 Desmond Aka, who is the PRO of the Ghana National Fire Service, joins us on phone. Hello, sir. Good morning. Hello, sir. DO2 Desmond Aka, can you hear me, sir?
Loud and clear. Can you also hear me?
I can hear you now. Thank you so much for joining us. We're grateful. This fire incident at the South Industrial Area comes a week after the Bubuashi fire incident. This is a big worry. The fact that upon all of the education, the sensitization, we are still hearing of fire incidents. Can you tell us what started this fire, or if investigations are still ongoing?
Unfortunately.
Well, hello DO2 Desmonaka, if you can hear me, sir, kindly position yourself better. We seem to be having some challenges connecting with you and hearing you all smoothly. We'll do well to establish contact again with DO2 Desmonaka, the PRO of the Ghana National Fire Service, so that we can speak with him on this matter. A very big worry. Issues about fire, not only does it pose security concerns, it also is a big dent in any investor, any owner's pockets. What you have and losing it to fire, you're unable to recover again. You'd have to start all over. If you do not have the muscle, you do not have the capacity to start all over, it means that you have lost a lot. Even if you have the capacity, you still have lost. You would feel the dent. But most importantly is the safety concerns, security concerns that we are faced with. I'm most grateful that this did not result in any casualty, because one life lost is one life too many. And so I'm actually very grateful that no casualty has been recorded on this. But we need to take a look at this matter again. DO2 Desmonaka joins us again. Thank you so much, sir. DO2 Desmonaka, if you can hear me, we're asking about the cause of the fires and any investigations that are still ongoing. Hello. Well, pardon me, my viewers, pardon me, DO2 Desmonaka. We seem to be having some challenges establishing contact. The network is not in its best today. Some challenges, but we will do well to get a very good reception with DO2 Desmonaka, so that we can speak with him more on this matter of the fire incident that occurred over the weekend at the South Industrial Area. This will be a second fire incident in the space of 1 week. Sometime last week, fire incident reported at Bubuashi, and one fire officer was affected. He wasn't in the most stable of conditions, and so he was receiving treatment. When we spoke with DO2 Desmonaka last week, he mentioned that he was receiving treatment and responding to the treatment. This time, another fire incident, and most grateful that there was no casualty recorded. But still a very unfortunate incident, looking at the fact that property has been lost. But the Ghana National Fire Service responded very swiftly. Within 6 minutes, they were there. They were able to put out the flame, douse the flames, and ensure that the fire did not spread to other parts of the building. The bottom floor was secured and did not suffer any damages. But we hope for a period where the fire incidents don't become the norm in our conversations. We don't wake up to fire that is ravaging any area. You also realize that the weather is quite dry at this point, very, very dry. The sun is scorching, really blazing, and so we also need to be careful when we are dealing with fires. We need to be very careful. Fires can spread at any time. If you're unable to contain it, it becomes a very, very big issue. And so as much as we can, we need to be careful when we are dealing with anything that could spark fires. That's why we want to speak with the Ghana National Fire Service and better appreciate what caused these fires, what we can learn from it, how we can safeguard ourselves. But this trend of fires at warehouses, a big worry, a very, very big worry, and we need to protect ourselves. We need to protect ourselves. As for fires, and so yeah, we will be taking a look at that. Hopefully we're able to re-establish contact with DO2 Desmond Aka. But the Ghana National Fire Service, when it comes to fire incidents in the country, there are some statistics. Let's take a look at it. In 2023, that's just about 3 years ago, there were 6,000 fire incidents nationwide across the country. And then we move to 2024 and we see that there was an increase of fire incidents, 6,434 incidents. In 2025, between January and November, 5,585 fire outbreaks were recorded. Still very high levels of fire incidents. However, it had reduced from the numbers we saw in 2023 and 2024. This year, 2026 alone, we're just in the 4th month. We are seeing that in Ashanti region in January alone, 132 fire cases. Well, but when you compare it to January 2025, it had reduced from 187 to 132, which is great, and we hope that it continues like that. But the fires have had very, very strong impacts. In the first half of 2025, 16 deaths were recorded due to fire outbreaks. This was up from 12 in 2024. And so in 2024, in the first half of the year, 12 people died due to fire incidents. In 2025, first half, that is January to June, 16 people died. 110 injuries were recorded in the first half of 2025. This was also sharply up from 30 that were recorded in 2024. So something that we should be taking a look at. But if you look at the trend, the incidents of fire have reduced. However, the casualties have increased. And so that is what the trend is telling us. In the central region in 2025, 703 fire incidents were recorded. Industrial fires had gone down by 58%. Commercial fires had also gone down slightly. But overall, fire incidents had gone up, and many of them could be attributed to residential fires, market fires, and electrical related fires. Electrical related fires especially am I concerned about, because sometimes we call anybody to enter our homes and then fidget with our wires, and a little spark and the fires are blazing, and we need the Ghana National Fire Service to douse the flames. That is why it's important that you go to the Electricity Company of Ghana to deal with these matters. Very, very important. Market fires are a major driver of national fire statistics in this country. And so our market people have been advised not to be cooking in the market, not to keep stoves in the market, not to keep charcoal and coal pots in the market. But a lot of our market people, they spend their whole day in the market. Some of them even cook from the market to take home for dinner. And so when they are coming to the market, they come with their coal pots, their gas stoves and all. They cook lunch in the market to eat. And then when it's about 3-4 p.m., they are cooking for dinner. So they'll cook and package their food home for their families to eat, because that is the only place they can't cook because of the periods they spend. But these are major drivers of fire statistics all over the country. Main causes of fires in Ghana are also due to faulty electrical wiring and illegal connections. That's why I say don't bring any sketchy person into your home, into your house to fidget with the electricals. You will cause a lot of problems for yourself and for the community. Please, please, and please again, go to ECG. Please, please. No illegal connection. Cooking and open flames. When we are cooking, let's make sure that we've not left any napkin around the stove. It will catch fire. When we are cooking, let's be sure to clear the surroundings. Let's be very, very careful. Your gas, don't be shaking your cylinder. People do that a lot. If your cylinder is faulty, please replace it. replace it. It's very important. But the open flames, we are using coal pots. The little fires have fallen out. We don't douse them with water. We leave them, and then a dry leaf, something just touches it, and that is it. Fire has sparked. Maybe you are not paying attention. The next thing you know, it's huge. You are frying something on an open flame. The fire has gotten overly hot, and you drop the wet food in there. Trouble. Well, let's have some more conversation. We have back with us DO2 Desmond Akapiaro for the Ghana National Fire Service. Good morning, sir. Once again, thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
DO2 Desmond Aka.
And thanks for having me.
Hello, sir. Yes, I can hear you now. We're asking about the fire outbreak that occurred over the weekend at the South Industrial Area, and we understand that no casualties were recorded. Do we at the moment have the cause of the fire?
Well, so let me say good morning to you and your cherished viewers as well as listeners. I will not be able to tell you the cause of the fire now.
Okay.
The station commenced last Saturday. We are yet to get information from our team of investigators who were on the ground right from the time we were alerted of that fire. But we did not report any casualty, and because of the lack of kind of access to the particular structure that was affected, we have to struggle to be able to contain the fire. But be as it may, we rode to the occasion, and then we marshaled the resources to be able to do that. But we realized that the structure itself was not built for a warehouse, and therefore it had been converted from a domestic or a residential facility to a warehouse. So definitely there will be some challenges. So when we got there, we had to create spaces, ventilate the area before we could get access to where exactly the fire was raging. And that was a Herculean task, and it took some hours to be able to do that.
Okay.
And so we want to be able to kind of advise the local authorities to ensure that they inspect premises of such use. If there's any change in use, they should alert us so that the needed mechanics or safety protocols will be put in place. I'm not even sure that maybe the assembly is even aware. If they are aware, then probably they would even let us know. So we want to advise general public. You remember last year, a similar fire occurred at Latadiokoshi. We spent days to be able to contain that situation. We don't know why that trend seems to be the norm in Accra, and especially in the big cities. So that is a worrying trend that we have been able to identify. And I think as an institution, we would liaise or collaborate with the local authority to ensure that we clamp down on such activities.
Well, before we even go on more on the South Industrial Area conversation, last week, there was a similar fire at Dubuashi where one of your fire officers sustained some injuries. Are there any updates on the fire officer? How is he doing, sir?
Yes, we understand that he's out of danger.
Okay.
He has since been discharged. He goes periodically for medical review, and we are happy that his current condition is going to get back pretty soon to join us, do what we are known best of doing.
Okay. Well, but the Bubuashi incident this South Industrial Area incident looks similar to the Bubuashi incident, a domestic building that has been converted into an industrial building as a warehouse. These are concerns. You talk about ventilation that was not available and some of the impediments to your work as fire officers. How do we get better from here?
Well, like I've said already, I mean, we are not happy of the kind of developing trend in the city, and therefore it is a source of concern that we are going to collaborate with the assemblies, because they issue the building permit, and then we come in to issue the fire certificate. So for such premises, even if you go in, you would realize that the certificate that has been issued to this is for residential. So once it has been taken, I mean, the local authorities would have to be informed so that there could be what we call change in use of property. So the needed safety regulations or measures would be put in place. But they do that the blind side of the local authorities. Therefore, it doesn't help us to be able to move in to ensure that the appropriate safety measures are put in place to kind of help us manage situations, because they do not go through the process to be able to convert these residential facilities into warehouses. They overstock the place. They kind of put in excessive goods that tends to even increase the load bearing of such structure. We are even fortunate that the one at South Industrial Area did not collapse. If we had not been there on time and if we had not intervened the way we did, probably the fire would have escalated for a long while and then caused the structure to be weakened to even affect the ground floor. But because of our intervention and our swiftness in getting to the scene, we're able to avert that. But by and large, going forward, I think pragmatic steps will have to be taken collaboratively with the local authorities to be able to stop this open trend. And we want to also urge property owners that they should not be looking at the money that they will be getting, either from local entrepreneurs or foreign entrepreneurs, to kind of convert their original residential property to commercial property, such as a warehouse, to be able to jeopardize life, put people's life at risk, and then cause us to go through hell to be able to manage fires of that nature. I think that is a good call that we would need to be able to follow up. That once we are able to put this into its proper place, we should be able to keep this kind of worrying development.
We understand that the number of fire incidents over the period of just 4 months into this year has been quite lower than what has been recorded same period last year, same period last 2 years. Can we attribute it to the education that Ghana National Fire Service has been given? Would you say that it is sinking down with the people? Hello, DO2 Desmonaka. Hello, sir. DO2 Desmonaka, are you with me, sir? Okay. We seem to have lost the DO2 Desmonaka. We'll do what to establish contact and we'll be able to have some more conversation with him. But one thing to take away is the fact that most of these buildings that are being used for commercial purposes were ideally built for domestic purposes. DO2 Desmonaka talks about the fact that even fire permits were given for domestic property. You go in there and you realize that it has been changed. It has been converted into a commercial property, and so the various authorities, the local authorities, would have to pay particular attention to these to these changes. They'll have to pay particular attention to all of these. Hello, DO2 Desmonaka, sir.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. I was asking if the message of the Ghana National Fire Service, the awareness that you have been creating, has sunk down with the people, because we realize that although we are still seeing fire incidents, the numbers have reduced compared to same period last year, same period last 2 years.
Yes, so you would agree with me that we have done a lot more to and that has culminated in the reduction that we have experienced so far. Weather turned bad. We recorded a substantial decrease of 22.1% in February. We peaked in terms of the dryness of the weather. We even recorded a marginal interval of 1.9. In March, it increased marginally to about 0.9%. So cumulatively, we had a decrease of about 10.02%, and that is remarkable for to about 5 years. I've not been able to do such a reduction in itself. That the visitation engagement, the activity that we made at the various institutions, lorry parks, commercial has actually paid off, and we would also be happy if we could to use or to prevent, especially the preventable fires that are normally caused by our actions and inactions. Fire safety is not any abstract thing. It is the basic things that we tend to turn a blind eye to, that we tend not to focus on. That leads to some fires. So once we are able to reach out, once we are able to educate, to change attitudes, we believe that the preventable fires would reduce, so that we can have numbers, so that the fires would continue to go down. There is one factor that seems to be driving the fires, especially if you look at the breakdown, the various types. The domestic fires this quarter were so much high. It tells you that we are not doing pretty well in terms of ensuring fire safety in our various residential premises. And one of the driving forces of such a trend is people migrating from lower or smaller towns into the cities. They come, they don't have decent accommodation. They tend to have makeshift structures, predominantly wooden and metal containers, and they are closely linked to each other. There is no proper layout, no proper planning, a lot of illegal wiring connections, and they do all things that tends to increase the fire risks. And therefore, if there is any fire in the slum community, you will find out that a lot of these are destroyed, people are displaced, and they lose virtually everything they will do, and the place is built up. And therefore, we need to be able to do a lot more, especially from the side of local authorities, because they control the communities. They have the power to be able to decide which structure is put up and not put up, so that if we are able to make this kind of wiring development, I believe that it is going to reduce the number of domestic outbreaks. And service, we are also trying to collaborate with private sector to be able to provide basic protection equipment to every household, such that people will be trained as to how effectively to deploy or to use such equipment to save their lives and all that. If you look at the numbers of people who got injured through fire outbreak, those who died through fires this particular period, you would realize that those indicators have all dropped. It all gives indication that we're becoming assertive. People accepting our messages and they are living according to them. And that is how come out on arrival cases, that is, fires would have narrowly escalated to destroy much more properties, were mostly dealt with and contained even before we got to the scenes to even help out. And this is a good piece of news. So if we are able to continue on this trajectory, and with the support of I believe that able to do more in terms of salvaging properties from the revenue. In this particular quarter, we did salvage to a tune of over 470 million, as compared to over 200 million that got destroyed. It tells you that with the right kind of support and retooling, the National Fire Service will be best positioned to help save more lives and property. In terms of key occasions, that is where recorded high numbers. It also tells us that there is a new trend of emerging agencies that the Ghana National Fire Service will have well equipped and well able to deal with them in various forms of entrapment. Now we are recording more bee invasion. You know, in the period that we have a lot of plants giving us food, and before plants can give us food, we would have to get insects to do pollination here and there. And you know, when it happens like that, certain groups of social insects, they move. In order to get the best pollen to be able to do their kind of work to ensure that we have a lot of food system. So this is also making the bees also travel from one area to the other. And normally when people bump into them, they either beat them, they either invade the place, which we had to move in to relocate them to escalate the situation. Many people have been beaten, people have suffered a lot of injuries, and some have also died. And this is where we would want to collaborate with experts in that area, train our people, get us the needed protective gears so that anytime we're called, we are best positioned to do the relocation, and when it gets to the west, to do the de-escalation, and to ensure that we keep these insects, these economically important insects that are virtually going into extinction, we keep them alive so that they can pollinate our plants, they can produce good quality honey for our sustenance in that. So a lot has been done to save more lives, and it is only fair that we are able to call the Ghana National Fire Service and ask for more support. Just last November, government promised of bringing us new fire engines. We are yet to receive them, and now we are being confronted with makeshift commercial where residential buildings are converted into warehouses, all that, and it is bringing in a lot of challenges. It's giving us a lot more problems, and it is also adding to our woes. Our engines are overaged. We intend to repair them now and then. So what these trends begin to emerge puts a lot more pressure to be able to use our meager resources to be repairing and putting out and faulty all back on the line. That is not really helpful. So if you can also for support and for fixing kind of support from the government, so that one beat up with the state of the art rescue and firefighting equipment, then it boosts our morale. Again, our presence will have to be felt. And how do we get our presence felt? We need to also have the infrastructure, the stations closer to our communities. And that falls directly under the ambit of the local authorities. They should prioritize, build more fire stations, and then ensure that we get the needed equipment to be able to serve. There are certain communities that outlive just one fire engine or fire station. It will be able to build more, even in Accra here, for a place like Tesano, Kimota, and some key communities. We do not even have one fire station. We want to talk about the function center. The whole of Dome Kwabena, look at that constituency, very big, with huge population. We don't have any fire station with a fire tender. The whole is gone. Well, we have a lot of flash buildings. We don't have a fire station with a functional tender. So anytime there is fire in these areas, we have to travel some distance, either from, if it is the Achimeto stretch, Tesano from Tech, how do you call it, Amasaman, they have to be on Amasaman fire station and Limpe fire station, or even cycles, and sometimes headquarters to be able to cover that places. And the moment we travel more than certain distances, be able to get to a fire scene, then it means that more properties will be affected and more lives will also be affected. But as strategic as we have always been, we have been able to marshal the needed resources. But I believe that once closer we get more of these fire stations and functional centers, I believe that will be much more. And there's that I do not find so easily with Ghanaians, commending the Ghana National Fire Service for the movement that we are doing, even with our limited resources, even with the challenges that we have. Look at that we are doing. I'm so committed. So what we just happens on our back. I mean, arrogance that we are doing well, but most often than not, we don't hear. Most often, they're always looking for the weaknesses within our operation, and then they will be lamenting us. And think that it's high time, just as you do for other securities. Also add your voice, comment that when you need to, and then ask for more resources to be allocated to the Ghana National Fire Service so that we can serve your interests. We can serve the good people of Ghana better than we are doing now. Because if we get the resources, once we get the utility, the rapid intervention, and then we are much more useful. That is where you appreciate us. But you will not add your voice. You will not ask the relevant people the right questions to give you answers. And you always want to reach out to us. It doesn't help us that much.
Okay.
So the statistics that we've checked out, the indicators are very positive. That when we are able to leverage on this kind of momentum with the representatives of the tools and the support from the public that we serve, we'll be able to do much more than we have done. And this is very important.
Okay. All right, DO to Desmonaka. We do appreciate the work that the Ghana National Fire Service is doing, your response and your proactiveness. But let me go back to the conversation about the bees that you talked about. For many people, it's not something that we are quite familiar with, and so when it happens, we rather aggravate the situation. The Ghana National Fire Service and your sensitization, your awareness, your education, how much are we going to see with regards to situations like these things and other biological problems like that?
Can you come again with your question?
So the issues about the bee stings, people are faced with situations like that and they do not know how to react. And so if they do not take care, it's going to be a fatal situation if the bee stings overwhelm them. It looks like our education on that aspect is not as much. And so you have rightly told us that in situations like that, it is the National Fire Service we should be calling. And so what more should we be expecting of you with regards to education on biological issues like that?
Well, so that we have been educating Ghanaians on what to do, especially with our approach to live in a semi and with some kind of you need to be cautious with the use of highly scented perfume. These are insects. They are only attracted to some scents. Your perfume very scented and it attracts them. That's where you would find yourself in that situation. So be mindful where we are passing. If you know that the place is bushy, there are some trees and vegetation there, you should be cautious with the kind of perfume that you would have to use. And then, if you chance upon them, the best thing to do is to lie down flat with your face facing downwards, so that you avoid any form of movement. Once you try to kind of restrain yourself in that still position for some time, they wouldn't attack you, so that you can know when they are closer, then try to evacuate. Then the best thing to also do when you chance upon them is not to argue their hive. Sometimes people get to see their hive and then they will just pick a stool and then just take. They are so calm social insects that if you don't disturb them, they will also not come and attack you. So we should be mindful of that, especially with the kids who would normally dance on them. Maybe they may want to have access to their honey or the comb, and therefore would use a stick to beat it, just let it fall. Once you disturb them in that manner, the workers would pounce on you, and if you are not fortunate, would disturb your life. And therefore, once we also get to see them in a location where they can easily go on the rampage as quickly as possible, let us make use of our emergency line, which is 112. Call us as quickly as possible, so that when you see them around billboards, around trees within your residential area, in the eaves of your ceiling, call us so that we can come in to professionally relocate them from that place, in order not to for them to cause any harm to your life.
All right.
We will continue to propagate and then set education to create the awareness on how to do them once it comes upon them.
Okay, thank you so much, DO2 Desmonaka. We are most grateful. We look forward to speaking with you the more, and we hope that, like you have called on private individuals to support the Ghana National Fire Service, you do get that support and also get the needed support that government is also supposed to give you as a service.
Grateful for having me.
All right. DO2 Desmonaka is the PRO of the Ghana National Fire Service. So much we have learned this morning on how to deal with fires, how to also protect ourselves, our safety, very important. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll bring you more on the show. Do stay.
Without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the Talking Point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Markion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Playing for your country, enye easy. Scoring, enye easy. Winning, enye easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Aye easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Some things never change. Trends come and go, but in your cooking, you still choose a tomato mix you trust. Because real quality never changes. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
This week's been wild.
Welcome back, ABC in the morning, live here on ABC News GH. We're streaming live Facebook and YouTube, and so if you're leaving home, you can still catch the show on these two platforms, ABC News GH. If you have not liked our pages yet, subscribe to our pages yet, please do so and turn on post notification. That way, anytime we are live, you will be notified of all that we're doing here on ABC News GH. It's time for our main discussion. Let's turn our attention to Damang. Engineers and planners has officially taken over the Damang mines. CEO Ibrahim Mahama says that there will be economic boost there, and he even talks about an airport in Damang. Let's listen to him.
And Goldfields opened this mine to me. Point of correction, I didn't just spring up to say I want to own Damang. 2022, we're going to close the mine and we want you to take over, but we'll sell it to you. And I said, you can't sell it to me because you cheated me all these years. So you have to pay me. So we agreed. They told me to go to government and get a no objection letter. I went in there. And I must thank our former president, Nanado. He gave me a document to sit with Goldfields and keep the mine going. When I did that, unfortunately for Gold, for EMP, called by the CEO of Goldfields and said, look, we have a challenge here working. Are you going to do that? Leave that to me. He says, no, he wants to know because they want to hold our hands. And Goldfields offered this mine to me. Point of correction, I didn't just spring up to say I want to own the mine. Goldfields said in 2022, we're going to close the mine and we want you to take over, but we'll sell it to you. And I said, you can't sell it to me because you cheated me all these years. So you have to give it to me. So we agreed. They told me to go to government and get a no objection letter. I went in there. And I must thank our former president, Nanado. He gave me a document to sit with Goldfields and negotiate and keep the mine going. When I did that, unfortunately for me or for EMP, I got called by the CEO of Goldfields and said, look, we have a challenge here working here. How are you going to do it? I said, oh, leave that to me. He says, no, he wants to know because they want to hold our hands. And Goldfields.
Also, the CEO of Engineers and Planners, Ibrahim Mahama, speaking about how he came to own the Damang mines. Interesting. Well, but this is the Damang mines now with Engineers and Planners. You would recall that this conversation has been in the news for a very long time. A lot of people have had concerns about Engineers and Planners owning the Damang mines. They say that the process was not transparent enough, that he now owns the mine by virtue of his relationship with the president. So much conversation, but at the very base of it, at the head of it also, is the fact that, well, now he owns the Damang mines. They have taken over. The CEO is promising an airport development within 6 months. A lot of concerns about airports here and there, when not the best to look at would be a railway, because that will be more affordable to Ghanaians. That will also make life easier, more comfortable than an airport. But really, well, the CEO of the mine says that an airport is what he will be delivering within 6 months. We'll look forward to having some conversations. Michael Edu Jemfi is small scale miners member in the Ashanti region. We'll speak with him on this. Michael Edu Jemfi on that, and so very soon we will establish contact and speak with him. Would do well and then speak with him on this matter. But the mines take over. Okay, Michael Edu Jemfi joins us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. First off, Engineers and Planners have finally taken over the Damang mines. What are your initial thoughts?
Okay, let me greet you and your workers as well as your cherished listeners this morning.
Thank you.
I think this is a heartwarming news. If you consider the historical antecedents regarding the ownership of our minerals, it is long overdue that we have Ghanaians taking the center seat of our large-scale mining. So, from some of us and the association as a whole, we think it's a step in the right direction that we should do to empower the indigenous. If we talk about property is owned by family members. It is a bona fide property for those who are the indigenous of the nation. And if you consider the large-scale mining sector being taken over by foreigners, whereas they also come and involve our people in mining and eventually take the profit, I think Ghana has started doing the right thing, considering the ownership of our minerals.
So for you, the Small Scale Miners Association in the Ashanti region, this is a takeover that you are impressed with?
So far as it is owned by an indigent.
Okay. There were concerns raised about the CEO of the Engineers and Planners because he's related to the president. And so for many, this seems like taken advantage by virtue of his relationship with the president. Is it something that we should place a lot of emphasis on?
This situation and position has become necessary as a result of the unhealthy politicking between NPP and NDC. And this can also be extended to other sectors of our economy and our national discourse. You see, but mostly I have been saying this, that it is not above or beyond the limits of NDC and NPP to ensure that Ghana takes its place so far as development and progress is concerned. But the rival aspect of their politicking that has become something that is retrogressing us. So, as usual as it is, to me, we have to look beyond that, the impact, the relevance. And if you consider the relevance, I think we should nip this at the back for them to do that politicking. But in an actual sense, it is a step in the right direction which we see Ghana benefiting much of our properties, as well as enhancing local competence.
Okay, in enhancing local competence, the calls for engineers and planners to establish its own refinery in the country, so that unlike when Goldfields would only extract the minerals and then take them away in its raw form, we have the minerals refined in the country for our benefit. What's your take on that?
This is another improvement so far as importing our minerals and natural resources to the foreign land. And one of the issues affecting Africa is that we normally send our raw materials for people to process it before it is sent back to us to buy at a high cost. And we all are aware that if we do that, we will be adding value to our raw materials, and that will also help in raising our chances of getting much money for the nation. So I think having this this processing factory where we will add value to our gold will be also a game changer. It will also our chances of getting more proceeds from produce.
Let me stay on your work as small scale miners. So far, how has your work been impacted? For about a year now, our conversations, or maybe 2 years, conversations have been very rife about Galamsey. Small scale miners have complained that we lump you with illegal miners anytime there are conversations, and so it looks like you are left out of the loop when it comes to mining in the country. So far, how has it been for you?
You see, it has not been well as we anticipate, but we hope that we are making some steep progress. All that we are calling for, that there should be a change in the whole architecture so far as small scale mining is concerned. I have been always making this comment that it is not something difficult for Ghanaians to ensure that we do sustainable and responsible small scale mining. But to me, I always term it as deliberate. It's a deliberate attempt, because considering the laws that we have to protect the small scale mining sector, I'm of the view that if it has been well adhered to, we shouldn't be at the place that we are now. And that has to do with a political will, because most of the systems need to be reviewed. Something like licensing, and the mineable lands have been also given to large-scale mining. And it is becoming difficult for some of our people to get some place to work on. And that has also bring about a disagreement between small-scale miners and large-scale mining sectors. We are hoping that this regime does not make joke of the resetting agenda and ensure that anything that has to be done so far as the small-scale mining sector is concerned is done well. You see, I have been always saying that the existing laws should be able to curb the menace that we have been talking about, making noise of destruction of our forest reserves and the water bodies. Already, the existing laws does not allow small-scale miners to operate in these areas. So whose responsibility is it to ensure that people don't go to these areas? If we have been able to protect our forests and avoid unnecessary politicking, that gives people some chance to move into the forest and work, and make sure that we give maximum protection to these forest reserves. I don't think we will be where we are now. One scenario that I have been lamenting on is that we are all aware that our forest reserves are for the Forestry Commission to ensure that they are well protected. But in Ghana, if someone moves into the forest to do illegal mining, we leave the forestry officers out and chase those who have gone into the forest. Are we sure this is enough to serve as a deterrent to others Because if you give your property to a watchman for protection, and when there is any lapses, the watchman must be the first point of call to answer why this happened. But in Ghana, those who are given, who are mandated to ensure that our forest reserves are protected, when the forests are encroached upon, they are left behind. And I don't think these are healthy situations if we want a maximum protection of our forest reserves to be intact. So we are not at the level as we anticipate, but we are hopeful that we can move together as a nation and make sure that the right thing is done to protect that sector. Another thing that I also want the government to be aware of, our quest to fight against illegal mining has also been the use of force, and we are all aware that this has not given us the needed results. I think it's high time we promote and protect small-scale miners who are mining responsibly and sustainably, and that will be a process that will conscientize the miner to do the right thing. Because assuming if we are all in an area and those who are doing the right thing are protected, they are not harassed, it will compare those around who are also doing the wrong thing to also think of doing the right thing, so that they will also be protected as those who are doing the right thing. These are things that we need to, but we have been always dwelling on force. This situation has not been helpful, as well as giving room for those who are supposed to go and fight this menace, turning up to also being complicit. So we are making this suggestions so that we also try to use processes and systems that will speak to the conscience of the people, so that the people will realize they have to do the right thing, other than allowing them to do the wrong thing and always using the task force to chase them.
Mm. Well, you talk about your inclusion in the mining sector to be better than it is now. Are you expecting that the large-scale businesses, the large-scale companies, sublet some contracts to you as small-scale miners?
It is not permissible so far as the law is concerned.
Mm.
The mining law does not allow that a large-scale miner can lease some part of his concession to a miner. This thing could only be done through the Minerals Commission, and as part of the mining regulation, these large-scale miners present reports to the Minerals Commission. They are supposed to identify areas where they want to work and where they are not ready to work now, so that these areas can be subletted to the small-scale mining sector. But from experience and observation, we normally have this opportunity from the large-scale miners, because if this is rightly done, we should expect that at the end of every year there could be some portions of concessions from the large-scale mining being given to the Minerals Commission. The small-scale miners can also benefit. This should be the obvious, but we are not seeing it as it is supposed to be done.
You are very much excited about engineers and planners taking over the Damang mines, and you say that we should see local participation across the various mines in the country. As an association, Small Scale Miners Association, what kind of relationship did you have with the Goldfield company?
What, you mean the gold was sales?
Yes, Goldfields.
You mean the engineers and planners are also selling gold?
No. So you mentioned that You mentioned that you are excited that Engineers and Planners, which is a local company, is taking over. Goldfields is now handing over to Engineers and Planners to handle the Amang mines. And so, as small-scale association, small-scale miners association, what kind of relationship did you have with Goldfields when they were handling the mines?
Oh, you see, we don't have any association with Goldfields. Neither do we have any association with Goldfields nor Engineers and Planners. You see, our position is that since we are now promoting local involvement, that is where our acceptance and satisfaction lies. And as part of the mining, we realize that the government wants to introduce middle scale mining, because in Ghana we have large scale and small scale. You see, when we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that in life we progress. Life has to do with progression. So by now the nation must have a deliberate policy or approach to transition the miners, small scale miners, so that we get to the top. If you consider the history of mining, you see, the local indigenes were not supposed to own mining concessions until 1989. That we have that Small Scale Mining Act, which gave licenses to the local indigenes to do small scale mining. And if we are serious as a nation, we should have that as a starting point, so that we migrate our miners to that large scale level. So we see Engineers and Planners being at that top as a motivation and something that we should try to encourage people to get at that level. So we are now, as an association, we are proposing that the intended middle scale mining that the government wants to introduce must involve only Ghanaians, so that by so doing we will be graduating our local miners and eventually take over the large scale mining. Because talking about property, indigenes must benefit from it. So I think what we are doing now, we are trying to create an avenue to also encourage other small scale miners to progress and get to that level. That is why we feel that if an indigene is now at that level, we will look up to him and also encourage some of the small scale miners to also climb the ladder.
Well, the CEO of Engineers and Planners, Mr. Ibrahim Mahama, says that within 6 months there would be an airport in Damang. Is that what the community needs at this point?
I don't think the airport is aimed at solving the social responsibilities of the people within the Damang. I think it is for the mining purpose that they have decided to put up that mining. But in the mining law, it is something that you cannot run away from, the social responsibility. And I think this could be done and agreed upon with an engagement with the community. So talking about the airstrip, I don't think it is basically for the community, but because of the job that he is doing, which is he wants to put up that thing.
But well, since again, it will be in the community, and like you say, you cannot decouple the social responsibility from the work that is being done. There are a lot of people who also say that we need to get better with regards to our railway system in the country. As people within the mining community, do you not think that an effective railway system running across the country would aid your work better?
I will not run away from your assertion, but you see, some of these things, it has to do with technicalities, and I don't know the technical aspect of surrounding the whole issue. So I will not be in the better position to speak much about it. But to me, I don't think the airstrip is for the community. I think it is something needed for the mining activities.
Okay. Well, we thank you so much for your time, Mr. Edujemfi, this morning. We look forward to some of the things you have preferred for small-scale miners, how government is able to incorporate to make your life better.
Okay. I appreciate the opportunity, and you are always welcome.
Thank you. Michael Edujemfi is the General Secretary of the Small Scale Miners Association in the Ashanti region. He's particularly excited about the indigenous ownership of the Damang mines, and he calls for that to be replicated across the nation. If we'll have Ghanaian participation in our mines, it would go a long way to being to the benefit of Ghana. And he talks about some of the challenges that small-scale miners are facing and how government can make it better. We look forward to a time where we have a very strong mining sector in the country, one that is rid of illegal miners, something that we are battling strongly with as a nation. The pollution of our waters, the pollution of the land, the introduction of heavy metals such as mercury and cyanide into our water bodies, into our land. We need to take a look at that and the Damang mines. It's just right that we also turn attention again to illegal mining and how we can clamp down on this menace that is really affecting us as a nation. Let's take a very quick break. When we return, we'll have more conversation here on ABC in the morning. Do stay with us.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the talking point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Markion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Things never change when it comes to feeding your family. You choose what you trust. For generations, Gino has delivered the same dependable quality every time. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
This week's been wild.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kibo 4-in-1 Gary Mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
This week's been wild.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. ABC in the morning here on ABC News GH. There's a group called the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy. They have written to the Executive Director of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO. They are petitioning for urgent investigation into suspected illegal fuel sales and data manipulation which occurred in August 2025. I'll read the statement for your attention. And so it's directed to the Executive Director, Economic and Organized Crime Office, Accra. Petition for urgent investigation into suspected illegal fuel sales and data manipulation in August 2025. We, the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, SEMSE, hereby petition your esteemed office to investigate a serious case of suspected illegality, data manipulation, and possible economic sabotage involving Life Energy, an oil marketing company, and 4 of its fuel retail outlets located in Sefi Osei Kojokrom, Sefi Debiso, Sefi Yaumetra, and Doma Ahinkro. Our preliminary analysis of available loading and sales data for August 2025 reveals that the OMC allegedly loaded 5,537,000 liters of petroleum products from Rock Africa Limited and claimed that each of the 4 named outlets sold an average of 1,384,250 liters during the same month. We strongly suspect that the sales figures reported cannot be factual, plausible, or lawful, given the operational capacity, market size, and historical sales data of these retail outlets. Consequently, we request an immediate forensic investigation into the sales and delivery records of these outlets, including all data sourced from Rock Africa Limited. These locations are not major industrial or high traffic transit hubs, even assuming 24-hour operations selling at 44,650 liters per day. That is 1,384,250 divided by 31 days at a single retail outlet in such semi-urban rural areas. It's commercially impossible without evidence of massive bulk commercial offtake or systemic fraud. Grounds for investigation: 1. Suspicion of fictitious sales and round tripping. Well, let's have some conversation. Benjamin Nsia is the Executive Director for the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, SEMSE. He joins us. Good morning, Mr. Nsia. Thank you for your time, sir.
Good morning. You're welcome.
Well, you have quite a tall statement or a tall letter written to EOCO concerning this company, Life Energy. Tell us why you have turned your attention on them.
Thank you very much. I think of late there's been a lot of troubles in the petroleum downstream, especially observed by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. If you take his 2026 second half-year report, it indicated that about 17 BDCs and OMCs were engaged in some form of fuel diversion, either condensate or marine gas oil. So it was a challenge. Recently, we also heard the OSP mention some 5 or 6 BIDEX or BDCs that were also evading taxes. So beyond that, we also realized that, okay, so if BDCs are evading taxes or allegedly evading taxes, and then others are also diverting fuel, then let's also look at our consumption performance, or what we call the OMC's performance. So we took the MPA published data and realized that an OMC like Life Energy was doing some super miraculous sales, and that we think that it can only come through certain malpractices, either maybe diverting the product from their destination to other destinations, or doing something that is quite miraculous. And the issue is that these communities are peri-urban or rural communities. Domain Crew looks quite municipal, but still the population compared to other parts of the country is quite comparatively lower. Selfie is quite peri-urban, and these communities are doing an average of 1.3 million liters a month, and that looks very suspicious because the industry average should be around 80,000 to 140,000 liters. So if the industry practices 80,000 to 140,000 liters per month, and others are doing 1.3 million, then it's good that the OSP or the YOCO investigates for us to know the truth behind these numbers. So we just presented the data we have to YOCO so that they investigate, because we know that if YOCO finds our allegation true, then it means that this company was taking advantage of the UPPF, or what we call the Unified Petroleum Price Fund, because we also observed that this company was doing what we call cross-zonalization, which is not supposed to be so. Cross-zonalization simply means that the company was loading from APD or Accra or Tema to Sefi, or Accra or Tema to Domain Crew. But the practice in the industry is that companies that or outlets that are far from Accra are expected to load from Kumasi, especially if the product is going to Bono, expected to load from Kumasi, so that the UPPF you pay something to the UPPF fund. If product is going to Sefi, you load from Kumasi, so that you pay something to the UPPF fund. But if you load from Accra or Tema to Sefi, it means that the fund will be paying you. And if the product that don't land in Sefi rather lands in Accra, it means that you are benefiting from the fund, and you're also taking advantage of the petroleum consumer. So that is why we just presented our data to the YOCO and the OSP to further prosecute this matter, investigate this matter, and bring the truth to Ghanaians, so that we know which of the OMCs are engaged in some malpractice that is affecting the Ghanaian petroleum downstream.
Is this to suggest that our petroleum downstream is porous?
I think recent conversations in the downstream speaks to that effect, because as I indicated, 16 of them, 4 of them in just about a month ago, goes to show that some illegality is becoming very rampant in the downstream of late, and it's become very alarming. And if you don't take care, the industry may not be sustainable in future, because others will take advantage of some of these things and make huge monies at the expense of others, or even sell their product quite cheaper at the expense of others, what the MPA calls undercutting. And that is likely not going to make the industry very sustainable in future. So we are thinking that we must support the OSP and also support the YOCO as well as the MPA to clamp down on any suspected illegal operation in the downstream. And that's why we started this. It's not going to be the first. I think that we are still looking at the data. More OMCs will also be presented to YOCO and then OSP for further investigation.
What do you say to those who believe that you may be launching a certain attack on Life Energy because you singled them out in this request to YOCO?
No, we are not singling any out. I think that their information after analysis came to us first. As I indicated, we are looking at other OMCs, and in the coming days or so, we will present their names to the YOCO and then also Office of the Special Prosecutor. Because even before we presented our case, for example, Life Energy is also in the books of OSP and also YOCO. So we are not the first to present. So they are already there. We just want this investigation done, and that also mean that we are saying they've done something bad. Maybe the investigation will come out to prove whether they've done it bad or they've done something good, but this is what we know so far. And others will follow. I think in the coming days, maybe we have about 3 OMCs that we are currently perusing their data and also looking at their outlets across the country, and then present our findings to the OSP for further investigation.
About a week ago, the OSP mentioned that they would be going after some OMCs. Is there any collaboration between SEMSE and the OSP with regards to this?
I think SEMSE is willing to support OSP and YOCO to clamp down on any illegal practice in the industry, because these illegal practices are costing us on a monthly basis about 10 million Ghana cedis, and it is going to affect the petroleum consumer anyway in future. So we are ready and willing to support, and being a downstream sector analyst and also observing the market for some time, we also have certain data that if they OSP request of us, we will present to them. Even if they don't, we also continue to present this data to them so that they can clean and sanitize the petroleum downstream.
Per your letter to YOCO, you talk about the integrity of Ghana's downstream sector. How far has it plunged, if it has?
It is plunging, but in terms of numerical, it will be difficult to say now. But as I indicated, there's a lot of allegations, suspicion, misconceptions of tax evasion. There's a lot of allegations, suspicion, and misconceptions of fuel diversion. There's also that misconception of adulteration of petroleum products. Also, that misconception of maybe some OMCs selling premix as petrol to petroleum consumers. Some OMCs selling MG or marine gas oil as diesel to petroleum consumers. So the time has come for us to sanitize, and we can only do so by presenting data for further investigation to clean up the system, or maybe to be able to revoke the licenses of those suspected to be engaged in these particular illegalities, so as to help the industry grow and clean itself for a sustainable path. So we think that integrity, we may not be able to give numbers, but this is recent information coming from some offices like the OSP and others, and even COMAC. When COMAC also presented their last year semi-annual report 2025, they also mentioned the suspicious distribution of some products to upper regions, I think upper east or upper west, and also mentioned some OMC they suspected that they were supplied based on their outlets. I think they mentioned Nugenex, Maori, and we're expecting that the MPA would have brought a communique or maybe release a statement on these 2 companies and aftermath of their investigation. But as you speak, MPA is here to release a statement on Maori and Nugenex, even though COMAC suspected some high distribution, which they think that was highly impossible then. So the issue of integrity, we may not be able to give figures, but I think it's currently plunging in the petroleum downstream.
Again, your letter tells us that you're ready to give YOCO or present to YOCO any additional information and witnesses to assist in this investigation. These are very definite promises making to YOCO. This gives an indication that SEMSE has done some very deep digging.
Oh yes, I indicated it. Yeah. We studied the data. We know the number of outlets these companies have. We know the population of the area. Probably we also know the vehicular population of these areas. So if YOCO requests of us, even though as part of the petition, we also added some data. But they need much data for them to investigate this properly. We are willing and ready to give them the data, because the most important thing is to clean the system and ensure that the system operates in a legal manner that goes to give the consumer of petroleum products value for money of whatever they get from the pump.
2.5 million loss under the Uniform Petroleum Price Fund. How did we get to that estimation?
So, as I told you that if you look at the cross-zonalization, we are not expected to go beyond certain kilometers. Now, if you go beyond that kilometers or those kilometers, you are expected, the fund is expected to pay you, all right? But if you go below the zone, you pay the fund. So what others do in the industry is that they are made to go beyond the zone. And if they go beyond the zone, depending on the volumes they load, then they get money from their fund. And if you compute the monies based on these 5.5 million liters, that is what it gives us. Because one, they are expected to pay the fund at least 30 pesos depending on the zone, or sometimes 40 pesos depending on the zone. But the fund rather pays them some 50 pesos per liter. So they are not paying the 90 pesos to the fund, or they collect the 90 pesos and add additional 40 pesos because of the cross-zonalization or extending beyond their zone. So when you compute, knowing the industry well, when you compute, you get this particular 2.5 that you saw there.
Well, since we are talking about the petroleum industry, let me just shift slightly towards the President's Cabinet's decision to take off some levies for the period of 1 month to ease the pressures on our petroleum sector, and by extension ease the pressures of drivers and commuters. How are we really taking care of our petroleum sector as a nation?
So a bit of deviation. Government did not cut levies. Government did not cut taxes. What government did was to cut margins, and these margins already don't go to central government. They are margins that we use to support the petroleum downstream. The primary distribution margin is an intangible margin. Already we've been overpaying for it. There's been an argument that we should merge that with the Unified Petroleum Price Fund, which is 90 pesos. So 26 pesos plus 90 pesos will give us a 1 Ghana citizen 16 pesos. So there's that call that we need to merge it and reduce it, because it doesn't give any Ghanaian petroleum user value for money. We also pay post margin. It doesn't give us any value for money. So what government did was that the consumer has already been paying for industrial support margins, distribution and infrastructure, and quality assurance. So government decided that now we are relaxing these margins so that the consumer doesn't pay them again. They are not going to affect any fiscal regime, because taxes and levies were not touched. And also we have surplus of them to take care of us for the next month. So it's not going to also affect the downstream.
So it won't affect the downstream. Well, you've written to IOCO. When do you expect a response from them, or have they even responded yet?
So acceptance or receival have been indicated. We are expecting that in the coming days they'll call us for further information if this investigation starts. If they don't, we shall remind them next week that we've presented a petition and we want them to follow through to its end, because it's critical to the sustainability of the petroleum downstream in Ghana.
How confident are you in IOCO concerning this matter?
I have to be. It's a state institution. I have to be. We are very hopeful, and I know IOCO will not fail us. So I'm very confident that they will carry out their mandate as established by law to investigate this matter fully.
Based on all of these allegations you have made against Life Energy, your letter to IOCO, pending investigation and all, if it happens that IOCO does not buttress what you have written or what you have put out, do you not think that it will harm greatly your reputational integrity?
Not entirely. We know the information we have.
Okay.
We know the information we've presented to IOCO, and we just wait for the outcome of their investigation.
All right. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Benjamin Insia. We look forward to speaking with you again. And we too will be following up on your letter to IOCO, seeing how IOCO deals with this matter.
Welcome.
Benjamin Isia is the Executive Director of SEMSE, Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy. They have petitioned Iyoko to investigate Life Energy on suspected illegal fuel sales and data manipulation that happened in August 2025. We'll keep following this matter to see how it concludes, but that's all for the conversation. We have some more conversation for you here on ABC in the morning right after this break.
Without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the talking points. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Makion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted granules. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Some things never change when it comes to feeding your family. You choose what you trust. For generations, Gino has delivered the same dependable quality every time. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
This week's been wild.
Welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the morning. Let's have some more conversation. April 18, there was a big event, an event for buyers, for sellers, for vendors, everybody. Porials pitch, and very particular, the FDA enforcement team, they were visible there. They went about clamping down on unauthorized sales, unregistered sales. So the FDA enforcement team conducted an operation. They seized unregistered products, and their reason was to safeguard unsuspecting. We also understand that not only was FDA there, Ghana Revenue Authority was also ably represented, collecting taxes, because if you are making sales, you may as well pay taxes for the development of the nation. There are those who say that it was done in distaste, because people had paid huge sums of money to sell their wares, to sell their products, and then FDA goes there to clamp down, making them lose a lot. If they wanted to conduct these operations, they should have done it even before people paid huge amounts of monies for stands to sell. And so some people have said that FDA did not do well. Others say, well, it is their work, and they thank FDA for protecting the Ghanaian consumer. There are those also calling for FDA to enter into our markets, because if there is anywhere that there are unregistered, unauthorized products, it is in the markets. Monday to Saturday, Monday to Sunday, people are selling various items, various products. To speaking with FDA on this matter. What more should we expect? They have done, they have conducted this operation. Is this going to be one of its kind, or this is one that we will all the time in our various? You call us and we'll speak with FDA and better appreciate this matter. FDA and appreciate this matter the more. But that is what happened on Saturday, one of the biggest fairs in the nation that occurred in Accra. A lot of buying, a lot of selling, a lot of display of products to see. I mean, for a lot of all of the markets that was done on Saturday in the capital. We are doing well to establish contact with FDA so we can speak with them. What more from now? What more from here? What more from now, and what more from here? We see it replicated across other fairs that are held. We see them in the various markets. We see them on our streets, clamping down on unregistered and unauthorized products that are on sale. Yes, we look forward to seeing that. But well, enjoy the sights and scenes of the place on Saturday, and then we'll have some conversation. FDA did on Saturday, clamping down. They say that to safeguard unsuspecting customers from potential harm, safeguarding unsuspecting customers from potential harm, and that is the Food and Drugs Authority. The Food and Drugs Authority. Again, I believe FDA can do better. There shouldn't be the avenue. But if this is not the avenue, which avenue should FDA use again? I mean, this could be one of the avenues. For many, it is a big concern, because this was a fair where vendors spent a lot on buying stands, on transporting their goods to the stands to sell. And so if FDA says that we've come there, we are collecting your products from the stands, it hurts some people. It hurts a lot of people. They believe that this is FDA taking the easy way out. Rather, look for the people and take their and take the product, rather than go after they have spent so much money and putting together the products and transporting the products to the areas where they have come to. So do you agree with those who voice out these concerns, who express these concerns? Do you agree with them that FDA could have used a different means or avenue on this clampdown, on these seizure? Do you agree with them? When I open the phone lines, actually would look forward to you speaking on ABC in the morning. We are calling FDA. We've been calling their line so we could speak with FDA. Unfortunately, we have not been able to establish contact with them just yet. We've not been able to establish contact with them just yet. But yeah, this is what FDA did over the weekend. I wish I could show you some social media comments when FDA posted this. I wish I could show you social media comments. It was very, very interesting. But well, we'll take a break. When we return, we'll look at this matter. I'll open the phone lines too at some point, so you can call, share your thoughts on all that we've been discussing, including this clampdown by the Food and Drugs Authority. Please stay with us.
Playing for your country, enye easy. Scoring, enye easy. Winning, enye easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Aye easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Some things never change. Trends come and go, but in your cooking, you still choose a tomato mix you trust. Because real quality never changes. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the talking point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Makion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
This week's been wild.
Playing for your country, enye easy. Scoring, enye easy. Winning, enye easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Aye easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Still watching ABC in the morning. Well, we're still trying to establish contact with FDA to speak with them concerning their operation at the just ended Porials pitch, the concerns Ghanaians have raised concerning the operation they conducted. But let me ask you to share your thoughts on the FDA's actions at Porials pitch. Do you believe that it was in the best, or it is in the best interest of Ghanaians that the FDA attended an event like this to ensure that people did not buy products that could harm them, since they had not been vetted, approved by the authority? Also share your thoughts on all the conversations we've been having. We're looking at fire outbreaks. They are incessant. What do we do to safeguard ourselves? The Ghana National Fire Service tells us that in many communities there are no fire tenders there are no fire stations, and so if communities can provide areas or places where the Ghana National Fire Service could set up a center or a station, it will be beneficial to these communities. Share your thoughts on that. The Damang Mines takeover, engineers and planners have officially taken over. Ibrahim says that he would build an airport within, and expect that as it is a Ghanaian-owned business, it will be to the benefit of Ghanaians. Share your thoughts with us on that too. And Semse has petitioned IOCO to investigate Life Energy. It says that there's illegal fuel sales and data manipulation occurred in 25 053 916 Please court with us on all of the conversations we are having, particularly the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, and what it did during the Porials pitch by clamping down on unregistered products, fair or unfair. Call us and share your thoughts with us. 0539161609. I'd love so much to hear from you, my viewers. I'd love so much to hear from you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, madam.
What's your name and where are you calling from, sir?
Yeah, I'm Ebenezer from Tema.
Ebenezer, it's great to hear from you. Share your thoughts with us.
Okay. I want to comment on the FDA clampdown.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's a much ado about nothing. How did the product get into the country? We have custom officers at the border. How did it get into the country? There are a group of cabal working with the this whole with the custom. Plus, even this FDA is just. I'm even tired. It's just just for cameras. They know all that is going. They know everything about what is going on. It is very sickening. And they're talking about Ibrahim Mama and Damai. Well, yesterday I heard Ibrahim Mama making some wild allegation about Nanado giving him it was Nanado who handed over the document to him to In fact, from where I'm standing, I'll not disclose who I am. I can tell you for a fact that Abraham Mama lied. He lied. This morning, we made some checks. And it is guilty conscience. It is guilty conscience that is beating the man. So he finds a way to bring the opposition to attack to. It's not guilty conscience. It is the whole thing. And then go to the retirement, enjoy this booty. It's thing. I mean, with where I'm standing, I can tell you for a fact that it's a big lie. He's lying.
Okay.
Nana don't know nothing about this whole thing. It's a lie. It's a guilty conscience that is worrying him. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ebenezer, for calling and sharing your thoughts with us. Ebenezer from Tema sharing his thoughts. It's Ghana Speaks, your voice matters, and your voice alone is what we want to hear. Call us and share your thoughts. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. I'd love so much to hear from you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. My name is Ilyasu.
Ilyasu, nyamiado me hoye na onso
Nyamenadum.
Yeda nyamiase.
Who says Sister Abena? Ghana no yen food and drug laws fast. One can share in fact. This obia bibia yes food and drug laws are registered in fact. In fact, I get on the media comment. In fact, Katrina obia bibia again food and drug laws. Ubepuya na. Ya discuss the premise. Envelope moi, na waji. Aden. Okay. Me patron me sambe ka. Ibrahim mama mwasa.
Yo yetio.
Anti won se Ghana no no kwasa. Brother Champo, Smith for the castle move for one no boka. And a brother Champo. E casa obeto. Fini oku de tabla ko yen. Demonstration for demonstration. Nde oku de tabla we wu ala so dia. Ayed o man Japan ye black voter man in the Ibrahim. Ya sanding another Daman man in the Amano. Again on one of the Ghanani. Chemaun to me or starting mining 2013-24. Which is calculated 500. Any pickups only than any Tabon okay. About that, sir. We will see.
Yes, we thank you for calling and sharing your thoughts with us. Let's hear what you two have to say. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Call us and share your thoughts with us on all of the conversations we're having. Fire outbreaks last weekend, on the weekend, South Industrial Area, and the Ghana Fire Service was able to move in and deal with the situation swiftly. Just last week at Bubuashi, a fire outbreak also occurred. These are recurrent. The PRO for the Ghana National Fire Service says that if we have more fire stations within communities, it would make their response even swifter than we are seeing. It will make their response swifter. And so communities should give them places, give them a piece of land, a parcel of land where they can set up a fire station so that response time will be faster. Share your thoughts with us. Are we prioritizing fire safety as a nation? Let us know. Share your thoughts. FDA clamped down on unauthorized goods and services, or unauthorized goods, beg your pardon, at the just ended Porials pitch. What do you think about that? Was that the step in the right direction by the FDA? Well, let's hear from you. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. I would love so much to hear from you. What do you make of all of these conversations we've been having today? Samsung has petitioned IOCO to investigate Life Energy and suspected illegal fuel sales and data manipulation that occurred in August 2025. The Damang Mines takeover engineers and planners have taken over the Damang Mines. Finally, let's hear you and your comments on all of these conversations. Let's hear you and all of your comments on these conversations. 053-916-1609, 053-916-1609. I'd love so much to hear from you. What are your comments on the conversations we've been having here on the show this morning? What are your comments on them? Let me hear you. 053-916-1609, 053-916-1609. Call and share your thoughts with you. As your thoughts that matters, and your thoughts alone would love to hear. But it's been a very fruitful show this morning on ABC in the Morning. The conversations with the Ghana National Fire Service, conversation with the General Secretary of the Small Scale Miners Association in the Ashanti region, and the Executive Director of SIMSA, Benjamin Ntia. Was grateful to you for joining us today. It's a beautiful Monday, the 20th day of April 2026. We start a brand new week on a brand new day. Before I go, I want to say a very big thank you to all of you, my viewers. Thank you to you, our friends on Facebook. Over the weekend on Saturday, I celebrated my birthday, and many of you went on the ABC News GH page on Facebook to send me your best wishes. I thank you so much for your wishes and the prayers that I received from you. I am most grateful to you, very, very much grateful to you. And so from the depth of my heart, I thank you, my viewers. I thank all my friends and loved ones, my family that made it a very beautiful celebration for me over the weekend, and my colleagues here at ABC News GH. Thank you and thank you and thank you so much. Most grateful to you. Let's say thank you to DO2 Desmond Aka, the PRO of the Ghana National Fire Service, to Michael Edu Jemfi, General Secretary of the Small Scale Miners Association in the Ashanti region, to Benjamin Ntia, Executive Director, SEMSE, for speaking with us today. To you, my viewers and my callers, there's no ABC in the Morning without you. And so thank you for joining me today. To the production and technical team, thank you for putting together today's show. If you were not able to catch the entirety of the show, we stream live on Facebook and YouTube, ABC News GH. You can go there and enjoy the show. For snippets, we'll be posting them all across our socials at ABC News GH _. And so do well to interact with us and enjoy all of the snippets. And our website for more news, visit www.abcnewsgh.com. www.abcnewsgh.com. I would remind you to keep your head up, to keep hope and faith alive, and not to relent in your pursuit of happiness. Like the quote we read earlier to start the show, the future we envision, we start creating from now. And so please put in all of the efforts, put all of your heart into what you want for your future, and create it now. Work at it. You will be able to achieve them all. I am ABENA Mante. I wish you the very best of the day and the best